Hi, my name is Brittany Marie O'Brien. I'm 19 and have become an addict. Most addicts will blame their addiction on others around them. But for me, I have nobody to blame but myself. Nobody forced me to take these pills. Nobody told me I had to. Nobody pressured me. I did it all on my own. I can't even remember the last day where I didn't wake up and take pills. Taking pills have become my daily routine. I don't even think about it anymore, I just do it. It has become my life-changing addiction. Even as I write these words, I still second-guess them. I think maybe I'm really not an addict. But deep down, I know it's a lie. Why do I keep lying to myself? I guess it's because I don't want to face the truth. I never realized how me being an addict has impacted my life and the people around me. My mom always says something to me about pills. How many have you taken today? Where did you get them? She says I'm a fiend. It disgusts her. All I ever wanted was for her to be proud of me, but instead I just failed her more and more each day. I know it hurts her more than anything, knowing her happy baby girl is now a self-absorbed addict. What she doesn't know is that it kills me every day inside, deeper and deeper. My mother always believed it was my father's fault. Everything's always his fault. I think she just needed somebody to blame. I believed every wrong turn I took, every bad choice I made, every tear I shed, every heartbreak I had was also his fault. It was his fault for how much pain he has caused my family, for how many nights I cried myself to sleep, for every time I asked myself, why me? Why this family? I also blame him for the unbearable nights I sat awake and listened to my mother cry so loud she screamed. We blamed him for all the hurt he caused us all. We blamed him for every bad thing that happened to us. So why not blame him for my addiction? I can't blame him because he has an addiction of his own. He doesn't carry around pain, happiness, sadness, nor sorrow. He carries around regret, the most regret I've ever seen a man carry. If he could erase his life, I honestly think he would. I've never seen a man so emotionless, so fragile, and so heartless. Each pill that he takes is each bad thought erased. I don't know how, when, or why he started his addiction, but it now affects his entire life. I started taking them for fun here and there until they became something that I needed, craved. I didn't think he craved them anymore. He needed them to even move. My dad was so wrapped up with work every day and so dependent on these pills, I don't think he even noticed that I was becoming an addict. He was so self-absorbed with his own addiction, I don't even think he cared about mine. After my dad went to rehab, I soon followed and also went myself. He was so deep into his addiction and thought he was the only one with a problem. After I got out of rehab, he had been out for a week or so. He was out before I even checked myself in. I went for a 3-day detox. I think that he thought I was pathetic for going into for a 3-day detox. What is that going to do? I thought, why would you have any room to judge me? Look at you. I felt a lot better being sober, and I was actually happy with myself in my life. I was astonished by what I had accomplished and learned when I was in there for the few days I was. Every other patient was a lot older than me. I was the youngest one. They all looked up to me because they knew I still had a whole life ahead of me, while they repeatedly ruined theirs. They all believed I could clean up my life, stay sober, and be the happiest I could be. The best feeling I have ever felt through that whole process was when they all encouraged me and wanted me to share my story. That was one of the times in my life where I didn't feel alone. As the weeks went by, I started using again. I never felt so ashamed of myself. I really don't know what happened. I found out my father had also relapsed. It felt like my addiction was way worse than it ever was before. A month or so went by before anyone noticed. I was using again. My mom found out, and it broke her heart all over again. I had failed her like I always did. But at that time, I didn't care. I didn't care who I hurt or how the drugs were affecting my family. The weeks kept on going by, and I got deeper and deeper into my addiction. My mom stopped saying anything to me. I think she was the most disappointed in me that she's ever been. I didn't care. I was only focused on how I was going to get pills each day. I'd save up change. I'd use her credit card, whatever it took to get me high. My grandma finally figured out that I was using. Yeah, she was upset, but she really wasn't that concerned. She had no idea how bad my addiction was. She also didn't know how far I would go to get high. I just kept on going, day by day, finding ways to get myself pills. I didn't notice that my friends were no longer there, and every boyfriend I had left me because I was a big pillhead. The worst thing was that I had no idea how different my family looked at me. I didn't care how bad my dad was doing, and he didn't care how bad I was doing. As I got more comfortable with the household I lived with, they all knew exactly when I was crushing and snorting my pills. I'd walk out of my room sniffling and sniffling, and either Jake or my brother would mimic me, sniffing back. They knew exactly why I was sniffling. I started failing my college classes because finding money was more important than getting my homework done. My mom started calling me a fiend again and would make jokes about it. At times she looked at me like I was disgusting. We couldn't even talk to each other or be in the same room as one another. We constantly fought about how my addiction was affecting my schoolwork. I always told her I would try harder, but I barely tried at all. I was emotionless and high every day. Some days I told myself I have a problem and I need help. As the days went by, I got fucked up more and more. I barely talked to my dad. I stopped seeing my sister. I fought with my brother. And my mother was so ashamed and disappointed in me. I started looking at myself in the mirror and wondering how I became such a self-absorbed bitch. Nobody wanted to be around me because I was so crabby 24/7. I really started to hurt inside. I looked more closely at my surroundings and thought, how did I ever let myself sink this low? Having an addiction is one of the hardest battles I have ever faced. You remember, you are never alone.